This is Mirabella's Kitchen, and today I'm making chili con carne with cornbread. If you'd like to cook with me, please check the description below for a list of the ingredients and a shout out to my patrons and to Ang. I've been struggling to find good camera angles where I'm in the shot, the food's in the shot, my arm's not in the way, and learning the new oven. It's been a challenge, but a little puppy love helps everything. I take one large onion, I cut it in half, remove the peel, and then dice it. I was going to mince fresh garlic, but though it looked beautiful, it had a lot of green and a lot of mold on the inside, so I ended up just using minced garlic from a jar. I take a saute pan, heat it over medium-high heat for an electric oven, medium heat for gas is my recommendation. Add some olive oil, coat the bottom. Add in the diced onion. Let it cook for 2 to 5 minutes until it starts to become golden. Add in the minced garlic. Cook that for another minute after stirring it to let it saute and release its aroma. I take half a teaspoon of baking soda and add 1 tablespoon of water to it. Mix it together. I'm going to add it to the ground beef. This is to help keep the beef moist. It's a tip I read online. Want to see if it works. So I just add it right to the bag, jostle it around. Add in 2 pounds of ground beef into the onions and garlic. Break it up with my wooden spoon and let it brown over 8 to 15 minutes. I found it to take a little bit longer on the electric stove, though I may have just crowded my pan a bit. I drained off some excess water and grease that were from the onions and the beef, and I let it continue to cook through. In the meantime, I take a handful of Italian parsley. I remove the stem, roll it into a bundle, cut the bunch, and mince it. You could also chop it. It don't have to be pretty if you don't want it. I added a bunch of spices and some paste to the beef, and then I realized I forgot to press play on my recording, so I will explain the spices now. 2 tablespoons ground cumin, 2 tablespoons dried oregano, 2 teaspoons smoked paprika. How do you do a hand motion for half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper? And 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. I add a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, half a cup of beef stock, and a 15-ounce can of kidney beans that have been drained. I then mix that together. We're going to be cooking this chili over a low simmer for an hour to an hour and a half. I also add in the parsley. Mix it in. And I added the coarse kosher salt and freshly ground black pepper at this point, though I recommend seasoning the beef with it in the beginning. I forgot, and then seasoning a little bit extra at this point if there's more seasoning needed based on your taste preference. I'm also going to top this with some green scallions, so I take a little bunch of them, I slice them, and then set it aside for later. For the cornbread, I take 1 cup of yellow ground cornmeal, 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 2/3 of a cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon salt, and a tablespoon and a half a teaspoon of baking powder. Whisk those ingredients together. Take 1/3 of a cup of unsalted butter and melt it in the microwave. While that's melting, I take a little bit of already softened butter and grease the baking dish with it, and I'm using a pie dish for this. I then create a little crevice, add in the melted butter. I add in the whole milk, and I add 1 large egg. and then whisk together until it is combined with very few lumps. And I added into the greased pie dish, and I noticed that I had a few dry ingredients that weren't quite mixed, so I mixed them real quick and get everything added in. I put it into a 400-degree Fahrenheit preheated oven for 20 minutes. And get a little Zucco love in the meantime. I shred a block of extra sharp cheddar cheese, though you don't need the whole block, but I need the excess for other things. I then make sure to stir the chili every so often, making sure it's cooking down and thickening. After 20 minutes, I remove the cornbread, use a toothpick, and make sure that it's cooked through by having it be removed and it is clean. And it's a little bit burned on top. I'm still learning this oven, but it did taste very good. So once the chili con carne has cooked down, I add about 2 to 3 spoonfuls to a large bowl. I top it with a generous helping of cheddar cheese, as well as a generous helping of sour cream, some green onion, add some cornbread and lose the crust of it in the process. And that's chili con carne. Thanks for joining me today. I make new videos on cooking every Thursday. Please support me on Patreon and on Facebook at Mirabella's Kitchen.